Hello, my creative friends. Thanks for joining me again today on my YouTube channel. Well, I haven't posted in a while, and that is because I have been doing this. And it hasn't been fun, I'll tell you. I've just bitten off more than I can chew, and I've been trying to take better care of myself by getting to bed earlier and knocking off some routine doctor appointments, but it's been a little too much. For this month, I have had a routine doctor's appointment and routine follow-up tests ordered, which are normal for my age, just routine, but you want to keep up on those. And also, I saw the eye doctor, got a haircut, and a lot of these things are not close to me. Most of them are 45 minutes away, so that's 45 minutes each way travel time. And that's what I've been doing on my days off. Lucky me. On top of that, just when I thought everything was over, I got a notice for jury duty. So, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This is just too much. So I've been trying to keep with my working on my studio plans, the drawings, and I've been trying to keep up with my studio list. And it's just been too much. So what I have to do is this. And try to just do this. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'm going to try that for April. I'm blowing that one out too because it's going to drip down my hand any minute, and I'm going to toss it in the snow. Oh no, it went down the hill. I won't be able to get it back till spring. Anyway, I have to slow down a little bit, but I still want to bring you some videos, and I don't want to drop off from YouTube completely. You know, for creatives and social media producers, there's this pressure to constantly produce and constantly make something worthwhile, and I would rather do something that's interesting for you and worthwhile and take my time and do some good art or have something interesting to show you rather than just put up something every week or every other week. And I know a lot of other YouTubers have done this recently. They've gone to a 2-week format from a 1-week. And that's what I've been trying to do. My goal is actually 2 uploads per month, which I've done one this month in March, and I still need to do another. This is my last week in March. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but we'll see. I'll try. So for the rest of the video, since it's still cold out here and I'm freezing my hands and my ears, come inside with me and see what I have for you today. Alright, so it's a different day, and it's still cloudy. Unfortunately, I've been plagued with cloudy days on my days off, and there's not much I can do about that. It's impossible to film in the house, much less paint in the house. So I brought you out to the inside of the greenhouse, so you'll hear the plastic crackling from time to time. You also hear the birds starting to tweet and sing their songs here in the spring. It's that kind of funny transition from winter to spring where it's still really cold, but the robins are back, and that's a sure sign of spring. So what I wanted to do now is to get you up to date on what I've been doing with the studio. I have been busy as promised. I'm hoping that you can actually see these plans that I've drawn. I can't really see in the frame because it's so bright out here. Even though it's a cloudy day, I'm getting a lot of glare, and this is done in pencil, so I really hope you can see this. But I did several different shots, so to speak, of the studio that I'm planning. It's 10 by 14 feet. So that is as high as I can go. It's not as big as I want it. I'd love like a 12 by 16. That would be ideal. 10 by 14 I can live with. It's better than what I've got now, and it will do. 10 by 14 because that's as high as my local zoning will allow a shed to be built without having to get a permit and have a builder. You have to hire a builder. You cannot do it yourself. So I'm limited to 10 by 14. And you also can't have running water, electricity, which is fine by me. I'm not going to have that in the studio, but I do want to put in a wood stove. It doesn't say anything about a stove, so that's what I'm going to do. And I know a lot of people make these kind of sheds and use them as kind of like a garage or a place to go to do a little, working in the winter on their tools. They have to, sharpen something or paint something in the winter. And, they've got a wood stove going in it while they work. So I think there's no restrictions on that because a lot of people do it up here. And I'm in a very cold climate. So fortunately for me, I'm going to be able to put in a wood stove. It's going to be a small one, but that's how I'm going to use it in the winter. So here is the ground floor, the ground plan. It just basically shows the foundation. That's the foundation. And I'm going to go on to the actual floor joists. So I did everything out on graph paper to scale, which is really going to help me because now I can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I know how many 2x4s I'm going to need, 2x6s, whatever, how many pieces of plywood. I've got that marked out. So these are pretty detailed. This is the floor joists. Then I've got the south elevation. This is facing where the pond inlet is going to be, and that is where I will hear little trickles of water after rainstorms. It's not a permanent inlet. It dries up after the rain, after a day or two when the rain is past, but in the meantime I get to hear that little gurgling, which is kind of nice. It's kind of like a little brook. And this is a lean-to, so I do have a south-facing window. This is kind of south, sort of southwest. It's south for the most part. And then I do have the other side, the sister side of that, which is north. That has no windows in it. I don't need north windows. I'm going to leave it at that, and that's fine. Note the very steep pitch because we do have a lot of snow. Now the only thing missing from this is the stovepipe from the wood stove. I haven't done that yet because I need to get specs from the company to find out what the clearances are. I'm going to put it in the back so that you walk in the front door and it's in the back. But the clearances are quite low, so I can get it pretty close to the end of the building. And somewhere around here is going to be the stovepipe. We move on to the front of the studio, which is the west elevation. Now this one pretty much faces the pond. If you're sitting in here, which the drawing table will be on this side, facing the pond. If you've seen from my other videos, the pond will be sort of in this area here. So I will have a beautiful view. The door is going to be full glass from top to bottom, of course the border, and pretty big windows. I wanted 2 windows, a door, and a window, but I just couldn't fit it in the length. And I've broken the rule of 16-inch on center 2x4s for the wall because I had to fit these in somewhere, and just getting a screwdriver in sideways, I have to make sure I've got enough space, and it was a lot of planning. I'm telling you, this has not been easy to do. I was putting it off, but I finally got most of it done. So I'm pleased with this. I'm going to have a lot of light. I'm not quite sure what to do about this on top because I believe with a pretty much full southwest facing front with all those windows and no electricity, so I can't run a fan, I am going to have a little bit of a heat buildup on top, especially in the summer at that top portion. that's going to be a little bit hot. And I'm not sure what to do about vents. Some type of venting there that I've got to plan into it now. I'm still looking into that, but I don't seem to find closable vents. I see vents that are open, like for your laundry room and stuff, but I don't see anything that you can close in the wintertime, and that's what I'm looking for. So if anybody knows a builder, is married to a builder, has pity on me and says, oh, try this, please make a comment down below. If you can put a link, to something on Amazon or someplace, that would be even better. But if you have a solution for the heat buildup on the top that is inevitably going to happen in the summer, let me know. I do have the back of the building here, which will have kind of like a little hopper. They call it a hopper window. It's kind of what you see in bathrooms or in basements where you've got like just that little, it'll tilt in and it'll have full screen. All my windows will have full screens so I can keep them open. But the hopper window will allow some air to come in the back. And if I can show you, so if you can imagine, this is the back, this is like the front if you're looking at it that way. So the air will come in the back, which is the top. That's the lower elevation here. This is where that little hopper window is, and this is the front where the door and the two windows are. It will let in some air here and breeze through here, but I still have that part in the top I'm like stumped on. Okay, so here's the back. Not a lot of windows. This is east facing, and there's a building right behind it. I mean, I'm landlocked in that respect as far as flat land. This is where I'm going to put it. I have to put it. So I have enough air will get through there, so I will be able to enjoy some air there, but it's not for light at all. Okay, and then here's the roof. Again, I did not put in the installation for the stove because I am not ready with the dimensions, but that's what I have for this. And as I said, this really is making it easier for me to count out what I need. I can count, how many hurricane ties or whatever I'm going to use with this, and really to the nail. I know I need 4 nails here, 4 nails here, 4 nails here, 4 nails. I mean, I can really, if I want to, get detailed on it. So I keep those in my studio folder. I've got a folder with more blank graph paper, and I have just a basic composition book. I'm writing all the notes I have. Here's a listing of some of the videos that I've watched on YouTube. I've tried to, each one of these represents one of my weekends, 3 or 4 days off, and I've watched so many per week. I've tried to do, I started off doing, was it 3 or 4 per day? And it just became unrealistic because it was 4 per day. 4 per day at about 20 minutes to a half hour each. That's 2 hours out of each day, or 8 hours out of my 4-day weekend. I mean, that's a lot of videos, but this type of project has been a monster. I don't recommend it. It's horrible. The planning is horrible. I keep looking to when it's going to be finished. I just keep imagining that day when I can walk in the front door and my desk is there and I can start in on painting or drawing with beautiful light and a beautiful view, and it's a room I can mess up and leave things undone if I want to and walk out. But I don't recommend. It's one of those life projects that you do once in your lifetime. Like people like refurbishing cars. They get a car and they work on it, for 10 years after they retire. It's something you do once. You can hear the ducks. The geese. I keep calling them ducks. For those of you that have Canadian geese around you all the time, my apologies for that little delay. Many of you may not. Some of you may be watching me from tropical areas that you don't have ducks or birds like that, and may appreciate the sound. I wish I could have shown you the visual on that too. But very hard project. It is just like, for somebody who has not built anything, it is from scratch. The learning curve is immense, and I may as well be building a boat or a plane, like a Piper plane, something that I know nothing about. Imagine doing that. It's just really tremendous. And in fact, one thing I thought of while I was building it, because I'm going to use rough cut lumber for economy, it is going to be very heavy. It's still wet. Rough cut wood is basically not kiln dried, so it's not that light lumber, those 2x4s that you pick up at the big box store. It's heavy, and I have had to design the front and the back so that I have a section that I can lift one at a time. I'm going to lift the door section at one point and this at another point and tie them all together, of course on the bottom, but with the cap plate on top. And then once you put the plywood on, it's more and more sturdy. Same with the back, because it's the only way I'm going to be able to do it. I don't have a lot of help to help me lift those frames up. I hope I don't do myself an injury doing that, but we're going to see, aren't we? Okay, moving along, I do have something else for you today that I wanted to go over with you. And if anybody wants to turn this off at this point, it's understandable. It has to do with my cat, Diamond. This is a picture of her. And of course on the table, they like to jump up on tables. But she passed away in the summertime, in the end of summer. And I really miss her so much. And, you know, we buried her on the property. We were lucky enough to be able to do that. Some municipalities don't let you do that. If you're in a city, they usually will, you know, keep the animal at the vets. And you have to make arrangements with a pet cemetery, and, you know, you can go visit your pet there. But we're lucky enough to be able to have her with us on our property. And I put up just a temporary rock to locate the spot, but I wanted to do a proper stone like I did for my other cat who passed away 2 years prior. So I got just a regular like paving stone from a big box store, which I did for my other cat. I drew up a very beautiful cat picture that kind of resembles her, and just the date and her name. I did a beautiful, really nice lettering. It doesn't look sloppy like this. And when it came time to transfer it to the stone, nothing would work. I was so frustrated. I spent about 2 hours trying to get different materials to make a rubbing of the nice layout and lettering and picture that I drew. And nothing would work. I used Sorel paper. I used white Sorel paper. I tried rubbing the back of a piece of paper with graphite and turning that over and trying to trace that onto here, but it would not pick up anything. And I don't remember having that problem 2 years prior with my other cat stone. So I think they treated this with something, and you know, which is nice. So because the paver will last you, but you cannot transfer anything to it. With difficulty, I basically wound up taking a piece of paper, taking the tracing and lifting it up and drawing like right under as I went and looked from the top. So it didn't come out like it did in my dreams. But I got it down. I got this part down and this part. Now, it's kind of cold out here. There's no way I'm really going to be able to show you the finishing of this. I wanted to show you drawing this or painting it in, because I'm always doing unboxings and some other things and book reviews, but I don't get to show you my artwork or my drawing, and I think a lot of people do like seeing that. So I can't paint it like I want to. If luck has it, I will show you either the finished product or I will show you placing it on her grave. But I wanted to show you that that was one of the things I was working on along with the building plans. And oh boy, if you saw my last video, I'm just like overwhelmed. March was a horrible month. I just had one thing on top of another, and sometimes when we have that, other things have to give, and that's why you have not seen many videos. I'm hoping with the warmer weather I can get out here and maybe do some painting in the greenhouse. That's another option for me. So hopefully stay tuned and we'll get you more of that. couple things I wanted to point out. If you have a situation where you want to do something like this, you want a nice memorial for your pet or loved animal or something, I will show you what I used. Now, this paint is special paint. I got it at the craft store. One I got at Hobby Lobby. This one I actually mail ordered from Amazon. It does have to be outdoor exterior. So I hope you can see that. I hope that's focusing well. But these are two different brands. I have not tried the Deco Art, to be honest. But I needed a brown because she has a little brown in her fur. As you can see, she's got that little bit of brownish there. And her back and top of her head turns brown in the summer when she's exposed to sunlight, when she goes out in the sun. Anyway, you have to have an outdoor. This is just an acrylic paint. It's a gloss acrylic paint. And I'll tell you, I was really not sure when I did my other cat's grave marker that with all these porous spots on the cement, I thought it would peel off, but it says outdoor. It's actually for painting on rocks. People use it for painting on rocks for decoration. So this, you definitely have to get something like this. It comes in a good range of colors that you can mimic pretty much any pet you have had, even down to parakeets, birds. You know, they've got yellows and oranges and stuff. So you have to use this. The other thing I do want to tell you about is do not use your good brushes. I'm just using this for an example. I did not use this. Please do not use it. I love the Silverline, by the way. This is a Jackson's. Shameless plug here for Jackson's. I really do love Jackson's. I shop there very often, more often than I should. If you've watched my videos, you know that. But I love the Silverline. I'm going to show you something that I did with this. This is a side thing here. This allowed me, it's called cat's tongue. Funny that we're talking about cats, but this is a cat's tongue Silverline from Jackson's. And it does actually give you the shape of the flowers. I was able to do this in like 5 minutes. It was just a quick sketch, you know, but this helped me play around. I was just playing around. So if you do like these, if you do want to try that, I highly recommend it. The Silverline, the cat's tongue is really nice. If you do happen to get something, I will put a shameless link down in my descriptions if I remember. It does really help me. If it's your first order, you do get 10% off. But after that, unfortunately you don't. But if you still use the link, even if you don't buy this, or if you use the link and buy something else, if you need paper or whatever else you're going to get anyway, I would appreciate you using my link because it does give me a little stipend, and I am trying to get enough together to order an empty tin paint box for my Roman Schmal paints that I received a couple of months back in my last art haul. So once I get that, I can do a swatching for you guys, maybe do a painting, but I'm waiting to get that. So if you can use the link, that's great. I appreciate it. Thank you to all of you who have used it. But back to our memorial. I got sidelined, sorry about that. Do not use your good brushes. Use something like this. This is what I've done. These I bought on Amazon. They're really inexpensive, $3, $4, $5, and you get quite a few of them. You can use them for all kinds of crafts. I actually use them for gouache because I'm afraid to use really good brushes for gouache. Right now I'm just playing with it, and I am not mastering gouache, so these are good enough for me. But something like this and your special paint, you will be able to make a nice memorial for your own pet, and it's something that's going to last. 2 years out I've got on this paint so far, and it looks great. If I can, later on in one of my videos, I will go over to the site and show you what the 2-year time span, what the weather has done. Or not done, which I'm surprised about. So you'll see that, and you'll see this. All right, for now, this is all I have. I apologize that I have not had a more interesting video for you, a more fun video, but I am working on one that I hope you will like. It's very colorful, and hopefully it'll include some of my live painting if I can get out here and do that, or if it's bright enough in the house, I'll do that too. For now, I thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. Please hit the like button if you haven't subscribed. I appreciate that, and I will see you next time.